Hi, this is Sojourn with us, and we're here to tell you why over 300,000 people a year hike this trail and why you should too. The Camino de Santiago is a long-distance hiking trek through Spain. It has multiple routes, all leading to one destination, Santiago de Compostela. If you hike the route, you are considered a pilgrim, as you are following in the footsteps of Catholics that have been seeking the bones of St. James for over 1,000 years. I'm not going to focus much on the history of the pilgrimage in this video. We have a video that explains it a bit, and you can click here for that. Rather, I want to tell you why you should make this your next holiday destination. The most popular route is the Camino Frances, which brings in over 200,000 hikers a year and takes you through the picturesque mountains of northern Spain. The second largest is the Camino Portuguese, which starts in Portugal and more or less follows the coast up into Spain. This is the one we did. There are multiple routes to get there, because historically Catholics just walked to Santiago from where they were. There's even an English way. Okay, so this is a hiking trip. Depending on the route, you may need multiple weeks to complete it, although you can shorten it depending on where you start. Let me be honest here. You will need to be in decent physical condition to complete this, and if you aren't, you will be by the end, trust me. But the great thing is, the walk is great for all levels, because you just go at the pace that is good for you. On our trip, we walked with elderly couples and saw families with their children. There is a great mix of rugged and urban terrain. You will one day feel in touch with the beautiful Spanish landscape, and the next be immersed in an old Roman town. It's this mix of landscapes that make this hike unique and enjoyable for all walks of life. You're never too far from amenities, as you will pass towns by regularly. So if you like a balance of roughing it and having a hot shower and warm bed at the end of every night, you need to consider making this your next trip. Okay, the second reason is the ease of accommodation. Imagine taking a multi-week trek without having to worry about booking accommodation. You won't be needing a travel agent either. There's a wealth of information on the internet about planning, and you can adapt an itinerary to your needs. How is this possible? The Camino, being an ancient pilgrimage for Catholics, has developed over time an infrastructure for travelers. Part of this is the availability of these things called albergues, which is a Portuguese and Spanish word which translates to shelter or hostel. The way they work is like this. You start your hike in the morning, and by 4 p.m. you've been hiking for hours, and you're getting a bit tired. You've been seeing signs for the next town, and you think it'll be a great place to rest. Perhaps you've done a little research ahead of time, or maybe you see a sign for it, but you come across a welcoming albergue. You go inside of the front desk and ask if they have accommodation, and pay your 15 euros for a bed. There are some nuances here, but albergues are a cheap and available accommodation that you don't have to book. In fact, many albergues do not book ahead, and vacancies are first come, first serve. Now, I won't sugarcoat albergues too much. A lot of the time you're getting what you paid for. There are trade-offs with this style of accommodation. They are by no means 5-star hotels. They're like hostels with many like-minded travelers in close proximity. Indeed, you will likely be sleeping in the same room as some. All of our experiences in albergues were pretty positive. And if you can get over sleeping in the same room as strangers, then you have a very cheap and reasonable stay ahead of you. I think we had one night where somebody was snoring like a walrus and kept us awake. We brought our lightweight tent and opted to camp for some of the trip, saving even more money. Once in a while, we splurge on a nice Airbnb for a bit of privacy. The underlying point here is there is flexibility with this trip, and you absolutely choose your own adventure. The third reason why you should go on this trip is the people and connections you will make. The way the hike is set up, you will inevitably meet people going the same direction. After all, it is essentially a one-way system. We found ourselves seeing the same people every day, sometimes passing them, sometimes being passed, other times walking together. We met many travelers with similar interests as us and always made plans to grab a bite and a drink in the next town. Sometimes we wanted to hike just ourselves, and we found that we could easily find this alone time on the trail as well.
Time though, because we've got another at least 2 weeks for the weather to turn around.
Yeah, I mean, this guy came prepared for the rain, right here.
Yeah,
He's got a hood and a hat on.
So we've made some friends.
Yeah, these are pretty much all the friends that we made so far on the Camino.
It's nice. They're not too chatty, but they're very pleasant.
We really enjoyed meeting people from around the world and hearing their stories. There are various other reasons why you should make this trek, including the amazing food and the weather in Portugal and Spain, and the fact that the whole trail is clearly signposted so you can't get lost. You can really customize this trip to account for things like how much time you have and your fitness level. I'm going to list a bunch of useful links below the video to get you started if you are thinking about doing the Camino. If you've hiked it, leave an anecdote or advice for people that are thinking about doing it. There's so much to cover about the Camino that I couldn't do it all in one video. If you like the video, show us some support by dropping a like and hitting the subscribe button. We'd be happy to answer any questions in the comments. We are now in the Canadian Rockies making videos about our hikes there, so check those videos out and subscribe to make sure you catch the freshies. From Holly and I, thanks for watching Sojourn with us. We'll see you in the next one.